Hello, my name is Brooke Morris and welcome to my presentation on understanding neurodiverse social play between autistic and non-autistic children. Social play is important for development, and the skills gained from social play, such as communication, cooperation and problem solving, can follow a child throughout their life. However, children may face challenges engaging in neurodiverse social play, which is defined as social play in a pair or group with both neurodivergent and neurotypical children. These difficulties can emerge due to differences in communication styles and different play preferences between neurodivergent and neurotypical children. A lack of positive social play opportunities can cause low self-esteem and negatively impact mental health. To increase the opportunities for positive social play experiences for neurodiverse groups, often schools will offer social skills support sessions designed to improve social play outcomes and prevent conflict. However, these sessions are often only aimed at autistic children and follow an interventionist approach designed to teach certain social skills or encourage correct social behaviour, which is often modelled on neurotypical norms. These types of interventions encourage masking, a strategy autistic individuals use, either consciously or subconsciously, to appear non-autistic to avoid stigma or discrimination. Masking can result in feelings of disconnect to others and can cause low self-esteem and mental health difficulties. Many SIGCHI researchers have explored using technology to support social play. Although some of these technologies have been successful in increasing episodes of social play, many of these technologies solely focus on groups of autistic children or are designed to be used alone as digital methods to deliver intervention therapies or social skills sessions. A much smaller amount of research exists to support neurodiverse social play without an underlying intervention strategy. Includal, a tablet application designed by Sobel et al., explored shared picture taking with and without enforced collaboration as a method to encourage social play between neurodivergent and neurotypical children. However, this was primarily a semi-structured exercise and only looked at pairs of neurodiverse children. In designing social playthings, Fromberger et al. Explored creating technologies that support the needs of all children during unstructured play through participatory design with neurodiverse groups. This research produced important design insights for future technologies. These both inspired our research, in which we aim to explore the characteristics of neurodiverse social play and think about the following question. How can we better understand the challenges of engaging in neurodiverse social play from the perspectives of both neurodivergent and neurotypical children, and use this to design technology to support all children's needs when partaking in neurodiverse social play? And one way in which to think about these challenges from both perspectives is using the double empathy problem. The double empathy problem, a psychological and sociological theory coined by Milton, outlines that barriers that might emerge from social interactions between neurodivergent and neurotypical people are not inherent to any one group, but are based on mutual interpersonal difficulties. This is due to the different ways in which neurotypical and neurodivergent people experience the world, causing a breakdown in mutual understanding. We propose to use the double empathy problem as a concept to think and design with, to understand insights into the barriers to inclusive social play from the perspectives of both autistic and neurotypical children. We conducted a two-part study to better understand neurodiverse social play. In the first part, we conducted interviews with professionals who work with neurodiverse groups of children. And in the second part of our study, we conducted observations of neurodiverse social play. We used our interviews to answer our first research question: what are the challenges and barriers to facilitating neurodiverse social play that includes both autistic and non-autistic children? We conducted interviews with 6 professionals who work with neurodiverse groups of children in mainstream primary schools, city councils, disability support organisations, and gyms which promote inclusive physical activities. During these interviews, although the professionals were given questions about social play from both the perspective of non-autistic and autistic children, they mostly solely focused on the barriers they believed autistic children faced during neurodiverse social play. So, to reflect on these, we used the double empathy problem to generate insights from the perspectives of non-autistic children involved in social play. From our interviews, we had the following 4 themes: understanding ambiguous rules or norms, strong desire to play on own terms, emotional and sensory regulation, and differences in communication styles. And these were our 4 double empathy reflections: diverging from correct rules, expectation to act as a cohesive group, empathizing with sensory perception differences, and following accustomed methods of communication. However, I'm going to focus on these findings more closely, as these are what appeared most prominently in our observations of social play. The first main insight is differences in communication styles, which may cause difficulties during social play. Participants stated that autistic children may exhibit differences in communication styles and methods. However, neurotypical children may struggle to diverge from pre-existing communication styles and may not understand that some communicative behaviour may not match their pre-established definitions. One participant shared an example of how gentle hitting may be used by autistic children to gain attention, but may be perceived as negative by their neurotypical peers. The second insight is playing on own versus the group terms. Participants stated that autistic children often controlled group play and desired to play shared games on their own terms. However, our double empathy reflection revealed that neurotypical children may expect others to act as a cohesive group and follow the group's terms at all times. One example a participant discussed is how often non-autistic children in neurodiverse group scenarios found it difficult to understand why autistic children may not follow the shared rules of a game. For the second part of the study, we conducted observations of neurodiverse social play. We used the previous themes generated from our interviews and their double empathy counterparts to help reflect on the findings from our observations. From these observations, we aim to answer our second research question: how should we understand and characterize the different experiences of autistic and non-autistic children when they engage in neurodiverse social play? We conducted 3 45-minute-long observation sessions of between 8 and 10 neurodiverse children. The children were between the ages of 6 and 9, and they engaged in free play on an open playground. The children were provided with all sorted materials to play with, such as crates, blocks, and balls. To analyse these sessions, we first categorised each episode according to Parton's social play definitions. On the right, you can see the overview of the play categories for each autistic child during each session. We additionally recorded the group sizes and group members during these episodes to track the dynamics of the play throughout. And to better understand each episode, we inductively coded each participant's interactions with others. From these observations, we had 6 main findings, 3 related to the structure of the social play and 3 related to the dynamics of the social play. Starting with the structure of social play, during our observations we found that neurodiverse social play was primarily initiated using physical means rather than verbal, through actions such as offering objects and imitating others. We found that social play often dissolved when other non-autistic children joined and pushed the autistic child out of social play, and in addition, autistic children dissolved social play by walking away from their play partners or accidentally creating a social conflict. And finally, social play was sustained by repeating the actions that initiated the social play, moving physically closer to a play partner, or changing roles and copying a play partner. I'm now going to focus more closely on the dynamics of the social play observed. During our observations, we witnessed a few instances of failed social play between autistic children and their play partners. We often found that attempts to join others were sometimes misaligned in space and time. These actions were either performed after the rest of the group had moved on in the scenario, or in an area outside of the shared play zone, causing the rest of the group to not recognise this as a desire to join in with the shared play. In addition, we found that some communicative behaviour might have been misunderstood. One such example, as shown in this photo, was taking items to try initiate a game of chase, which accidentally caused conflict between one autistic and one non-autistic participant. To link our observations back to our interview findings, we believe that most of these failed attempts at social play occurred due to a mismatch of communication style, which caused a breakdown in mutual understanding. During our observations, we also witnessed a few instances of social conflict between autistic children and their play partners. We observed that social conflict occurred for 2 main reasons: miscommunications of play space boundaries or misunderstandings of rules of a shared game. In the example shown, social conflict occurred due to one participant trying to include her idea of putting objects into the bin as she thought this was relevant to the game. The others become frustrated as this was not the rules that they had established prior to her joining the social play episode. Similarly to failed attempts at social play, we believe that most of these instances of social conflict occurred due to differences in communication styles, causing a breakdown in understanding. One of our main findings from our observations is that we observe instances of solitary detours, which we define as small episodes of social play in which the child takes time away from the shared play goal to complete a task that is thematically related to the overall play scenario. Although these may appear as instances of parallel or solitary play, we do believe that these are social, as both the group and the child taking the detour still complete activities related to the same shared play theme. Here is a graph displaying the codes used for a small section of play. In this example, we see A1 taking time away from playing a game of kings and queens with his play partners to build a castle alone with large building blocks. His two play partners, N1 and N4, continue with the shared play goal to sort the blocks into the crate to later drag around the playground. Throughout the play session, A1 moved seamlessly between the shared game space and his own solitary detour space. Our definition of solitary detour expands upon Fromberger et al.'s previous definition of solitary detour, which involved neurodivergent children taking time away from group play for emotional and sensory regulation. In our observations, we saw children using solitary detours as a way in which to achieve unfulfilled play desires and handle instances where one child wishes to play on their own terms while the rest of the group wishes to play on the group's terms. Based on our findings, we propose a range of design insights to support neurodiverse social play, one of which to support solitary detours and another to support communication. Firstly, to support solitary detours, we suggest that social play technologies for neurodiverse groups should support multiple and flexible pathways to the same shared goals so that children have control over how they wish to play at any one point. Social play technologies also have clear entry and exit points to shared and solitary detour play to support ease of movement between play types. Children should also be able to indicate clearly to others when they intend to exit and re-enter shared play. Finally, it is important to keep both groups updated on the status of both the shared and detour play for easy reinitiation back into the group. To support mutual understanding between children, we suggest that neurodiverse social play technologies should create a common medium of communication between participants. This should aid in reducing both social conflicts and failed attempts at social play. The device should not require either child to change their main method or style of communication and should instead support each child's unique interaction style. The device should also not place the burden of interpretation on any one child, but instead should share it equally between play partners or take on the burden itself. In conclusion, we believe that the double empathy problem has supported us to consider the social play experience of all children and helps moving beyond a deficit or intervention-based model of social play. We present insights into supporting the unique dynamics of neurodiverse social play, such as solitary detours, for both autistic and non-autistic children. However, the practical operationalization of the double empathy problem is not well specified by previous research, and there is work needed to develop a more concrete framework. This will aid in supporting researchers in implying the double empathy problem within design. Thank you for listening. If you would like to contact me, you can find me on the internet in the following places.